If you have a project you want to do, how long do you wait for the money? Well, if you really, really, really want to do it, I think you just don't ever stop until you get it done. I have a project that I did as a short film. It was probably 10 years ago. I did it as a short film. I took it out on the festival circuit. That was my total intention. I had no intention beyond that. And from the very first festival where I won my first award and started winning awards with the film, people came up to me and said, "You must make this into a feature, you must." And they cried and they gave me such wonderful comments about the film. They loved it so much, and it was this, that, and the other. And it was about a woman who gets breast cancer and you know, the way in which she handles her life. And they just loved the film. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to be the breast cancer director. I didn't want to be the woman who did the film about breast cancer. I thought the film was fine as a short. I didn't want to expand it into a feature. I had all these reasons why I didn't want to do it. I could give you a whole laundry list of reasons why I didn't want to make it into a feature. 6 months of people telling me at every festival and winning all these awards why I should make this film into a feature and begging me to make it into a feature. I finally said, okay, fine, I will make it into a feature, but I'm not going to take this story and expand it into a feature. I just think this story in and of itself is like this little, small, perfect little microcosm of a story, and to expand it is to ruin it. You know how sometimes you just have a story and it's told in a very compact way, and to add anything to it, it just doesn't feel right. I was in New York at a festival, and once again, I'm being interviewed for the local TV station out there and blah, blah, blah. And they're telling me, please make this into a feature. Please, please, please. And I'm calling my husband on the phone back here in California. And I'm saying, maybe I should. But what would I do? How would I do it? I don't even want to expand this into a feature. What would I do? And he's a brilliant guy. He's my editor. He's a brilliant storyteller because he is an editor, and editors are brilliant storytellers. And he said, well, you don't have to expand it. Why don't you just do an anthology feature? You know, like New York Stories. Do 2 other completely different stories. And I said, oh, that's brilliant. 2 other completely different stories. I hung up from him and I started writing. I wrote the first scene on like scraps of paper in the hotel room. For the second one, I came up with this idea and I wrote the first scene, and it was like, this is brilliant. And it was the scene in the middle of the second one. And by the time I got home, I had the whole second story done. I wrote it. I couldn't hardly write it fast enough. I entered it into some contests, the screenplay, into some short film contests, won a bunch of awards, wrote the third one, entered it into some contests, won some awards. And then I had a producer who was like, I want to make this into a movie, but my money people, they want to see one cohesive screenplay. They don't understand 3 separate screenplays. They don't understand 3 separate stories. And I'm like, it's like New York Stories. They're like, they don't want to hear New York Stories. If anything, it could be like The Hours, but they want to see one screenplay. They don't want to read 3 separate things. It's like, okay, well, I didn't structure it like one screenplay. You look at The Hours, it's like they started from the very beginning and they structured it in such a way as to weave those stories in and out of each other, even though they were very different stories. I'm looking at 3 completely different stories going, there's just no weaving these in and out of each other when I didn't start that way. How do I do that? And then I'm looking at it, I'm puzzling over it, and then I put it away. And, you know, you put it in the hopper, in that brain up there. You put it in the hopper, and you let it, like, ferment. And the next thing I know, a week or 2 later, I'm sitting down and writing this opening montage 10-minute sequence that takes all of the supporting characters from all three stories and weaves them in and out of this long, it's almost like a single camera thing, except it's not a single camera thing, but it has that feeling of a single camera going from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and following this guy, and then we break off from him and follow her, and then we break off from her and follow him. And we never see the main characters from each of those three stories in that opening piece, but it's all the secondary characters. It is very Altman-esque, and what it did was underscore the theme, which is when people are going through a very life-changing, almost life-threatening illness like this, they often feel like they're alone, like they're very much alone and going through it by themselves. And yet, they are surrounded by people who support them. They don't always know it. And all of these supporting characters are interacting with each other, all in support of the three main characters from the three different stories. So I have yet to make this as a feature, by the way. I am still raising money to make this as a feature. It's what everyone in Hollywood would call a soft feature. It's a woman's story. It's a soft feature. It's breast cancer. It's like nobody really wants to put their money into it. But I keep telling people, look, every other person, male or female, by the way, every other person I meet still to this day, but certainly when I was on the festival circuit with that film, but even to this day, every other person I meet has a deep personal connection to someone in their life, whether it's their mother or their sister or their aunt or their grandmother or their sweetheart or their daughter or their best friend who's got breast cancer, who's been diagnosed. So I think it really would resonate with half the population, male and female. I just think it would, because everybody knows somebody who has been diagnosed. So I've got a little plan up my sleeve this year. I'm working a plan. Just you wait. We may be shooting this before the end of the year yet. So I'm working on it.